Hey y'all, I'm back. So I'm going to start by giving you a brief definition of what lupus is. Lupus is an autoimmune disease where your body attacks itself. Instead of attacking foreign invaders that may enter your body starts attacking your vital organs. It may attack your brain, your kidneys, your lungs, your skin, your joints. During my pregnancy, I was diagnosed with SLE lupus, which is systematic lupus erythematosus. I think that's how you say the E word. But as the title of the video say, I'm going to explain to you how I found out I had lupus. So one day I was at work. This was back in 27, oh, yeah, 2018. Yeah, and I noticed that I was having lower back pain all the time and lower back pain all the time. Yeah, and aching. I was just aching. I was always active, um, drinking. I was drinking a gallon of water a day at work because I worked in the shipment department at Old Navy. So I was the shipment lead. I basically worked a line, taking all the clothes out of the boxes and then put them up on display in the store. Now I had been with Old Navy almost 5 years, and I had been to different locations. And after all of that time, I chose to just stay in shipment. So one day, I was looking in the mirror at work, and I noticed I had a bald spot. Now I thought this bald spot because I colored my hair, but that wasn't so. I had been to school, graduated, got my license. So by then, I was in a relationship also at that time, and I ended up finding out I was pregnant. I was pregnant. So at the beginning of my pregnancy, this was back in January of 2018. So no, that was 2017. It was 2017 when I was working at Old Navy that I noticed the first sign. 2018, beginning of 2018, I found out that I was pregnant. And I was at work having so much pain. My back was aching like all the time. It was excruciating pain. And I went to the doctor, and they ended up with
I hate
so
being pregnant and having
at the third month
allergies. My eyes.
of my pregnancy,
More allergy medicine.
March, I started developing edema in my legs. I started having vaginal bleeding and cramping in my stomach. I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? So my doctor at the time said that he didn't know what was going on with me. He thought I was having like early pregnancy syndrome, where you're feeling like things are going on with you, but it's really not. So I ended up changing that OBGYN, and I found another OBGYN. And her nurse practitioner was the one who actually noticed that I had a butterfly rash on my nose. As you can see, I have one that is just cleared up, but it was across my nose like this. It was very red and inflamed. And she was like, have you ever heard of lupus? I've heard of, and I was like, yeah, I've heard of lupus before, but not in depth with it. I just knew that I had a former classmate that passed away from it, and people said it was very, very painful. it's a very, very painful disease. And she was like, I believe you might have that. And so I was having blood in my urine, and I told my OBG I was having, vaginal bleeding. She told me that she felt that I should go to the emergency room. So I get to the emergency room. I was in so much pain. They did x-rays, they draw blood. I was severely dehydrated. My urine was almost brown. So they was giving me fluids through an IV. I had pneumonia in my chest. They were like, if I hadn't came, I probably would have died. And they did ultrasound on my son. They said that he was fine through the process. I ended up having to also see a high-risk doctor because they said that during pregnancies and you have lupus, that your child could develop a heart condition and may end up having heart failure. And so he had to be monitored that way. I ended up being in a hospital for 8 days. They draw so much blood that when my dad came to visit me, he was like, that's it. Y'all can't get no more blood out of her. No more blood out of her. So I ended up being released and set up my LBGYN, set up an appointment with a rheumatologist. I went to see that rheumatologist, and that's when she let me confirm, did her blood work, and I came for a follow-up. She confirmed that I had SLE lupus, and during my pregnancy, she had me on a high dose of prednisone. She also had me on hydroxychloroquine. Those were the only two medicines that I was on during my pregnancy. Towards the end of my pregnancy, she would lower the prednisone to get me off because prednisone can cause diabetes and other diseases. She was very nice too. And so, kind of chilly, y'all. After that, let me see. After that, everything was good. I was feeling better. My pneumonia was gone before I left the hospital. So I ended up going what they consider full time. I went 38 weeks with my son, and it was good after that. So once I had him, things kind of transpired. I was cool. I went through postpartum depression, which most women after they have a child go through it. Like, it was really hard. I was stressed out, which sent me into another flare. And my rheumatologist at the time, she didn't take my insurance, so I ended up having to find another rheumatologist, and I was able to get in and see him quick. That rheumatologist decided that he didn't want to keep me on my current medications that my doctor, previous rheumatologist had. He wanted me to try this free trial drug. And I was like, I don't know about that. He was like, I was breastfeeding at the time. He was like, you can take it while you're breastfeeding. So he gave me paperwork on it. I went home and read all the paperwork, and it said that you couldn't breastfeed with that. So I ended up not taking that medication, and I would just experience aching, and I wanted to little prednisone to kind of like get me through. And the nurse called me because I had missed my appointment to call me to see how the medication was also, how it was going. And I told her I wasn't taking it. And he told her that he was going to take me off both my medications and that to give them a call when I decided to take the medicine. So that's how that went. And after that, I just went, I went, no, I went vegan. After that, to just naturally heal my body. So that flare lasted about 6 months after my pregnancy, and it was triggered by stress. Yeah. That is the end of this video. I'm going to, yeah. So stay tuned for the next video.